You can fool all the people some of the time, and some of the people all the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. How many legs does a dog have if you call his tail a leg? 4. Saying that a tail is a leg doesn't make it a leg. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Sir, my concern is not whether God is on our side. My greatest concern is to be on God's side, for God is always right. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. All that I am, or hope to be, I owe to my angel mother. The philosophy of the schoolroom in one generation will be the philosophy of government in the next. The ballot is stronger than the bullet. I don't like that man. I must get to know him better. Most folks are as happy as they make up their minds to be. Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. I am a slow walker, but I never walk back. Be sure you put your feet in the right place, then stand firm. Character is like a tree and reputation like a shadow. The shadow is what we think of it, the tree is the real thing. When I do good I feel good, when I do bad I feel bad, and that's my religion. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other. I will prepare and someday my chance will come. I do the very best I know how, the very best I can, and I mean to keep on doing so until the end. We the people are the rightful masters of both Congress and the courts, not to overthrow the Constitution but to overthrow the men who pervert the Constitution. It has been my experience that folks who have no vices have very few virtues. My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure. I am a firm believer in the people. If given the truth, they can be depended upon to meet any national crisis. The great point is to bring them the real facts. I have always found that mercy bears richer fruits than strict justice. This country, with its institutions, belongs to the people who inhabit it. Whenever they shall grow weary of the existing government, they can exercise their constitutional right of amending it, or exercise their revolutionary right to overthrow it. Marriage is neither heaven nor hell, it is simply purgatory. My dream is of a place and a time where America will once again be seen as the last best hope of earth. Don't worry when you are not recognized, but strive to be worthy of recognition. As I would not be a slave, so I would not be a master. This expresses my idea of democracy. The highest art is always the most religious, and the greatest artist is always a devout person. Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? The best way to get a bad law repealed is to enforce it strictly. He has a right to criticize, who has a heart to help. I like to see a man proud of the place in which he lives. I like to see a man live so that his place will be proud of him. I remember my mother's prayers and they have always followed me. They have clung to me all my life. You have to do your own growing no matter how tall your grandfather was. That some achieve great success, is proof to all that others can achieve it as well. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves, and under the rule of a just God, cannot long retain it. The probability that we may fail in the struggle ought not to deter us from the support of a cause we believe to be just. If this is coffee, please bring me some tea, but if this is tea, please bring me some coffee. I do not think much of a man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday. No man is good enough to govern another man without the other's consent. Discourage litigation. Persuade your neighbors to compromise whenever you can. As a peacemaker, the lawyer has superior opportunity of being a good man. There will still be business enough. A woman is the only thing I am afraid of that I know will not hurt me. The things I want to know are in books. My best friend is the man who'll get me a book I ain't read. With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds. Whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on him personally. Towering genius disdains a beaten path. It seeks regions hitherto unexplored. No matter how much cats fight, there always seem to be plenty of kittens. Let's have faith that right makes might, and in that faith let us, to the end, dare to do our duty as we understand it. Avoid popularity if you would have peace. A friend is one who has the same enemies as you have. We should be too big to take offense and too noble to give it. If we could first know where we are, and whither we are tending, we could then better judge what to do, and how to do it. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Public sentiment is everything. With public sentiment, nothing can fail. Without it, nothing can succeed. Tact is the ability to describe others as they see themselves. I want it said of me by those who knew me best, that I always plucked a thistle and planted a flower where I thought a flower would grow. If there is anything that a man can do well, I say let him do it. Give him a chance. I don't know who my grandfather was, I am much more concerned to know what his grandson will be. Don't interfere with anything in the Constitution. That must be maintained, for it is the only safeguard of our liberties. Surely God would not have created such a being as man, with an ability to grasp the infinite, to exist only for a day. No, no, man was made for immortality. Important principles may, and must, be inflexible. I care not much for a man's religion whose dog and cat are not the better for it. Stand with anybody that stands right, stand with him while he is right and part with him when he goes wrong. True patriotism is better than the wrong kind of piety. There is no grievance that is a fit object of redress by mob law. With the fearful strain that is on me night and day, if I did not laugh I should die. I never had a policy, I have just tried to do my very best each and every day. As our case is new, we must think and act anew. When I hear a man preach, I like to see him act as if he were fighting bees. If I were two-faced, would I be wearing this one? I am rather inclined to silence. I can make more generals, but horses cost money. To give victory to the right, not bloody bullets, but peaceful ballots only, are necessary. If once you forfeit the confidence of your fellow citizens, you can never regain their respect and esteem. Books serve to show a man that those original thoughts of his aren't very new at all. What kills a skunk is the publicity it gives itself. I know that the Lord is always on the side of the right, but it is my constant anxiety and prayer that I and this nation may be on the Lord's side. Some single mind must be master, else there will be no agreement in anything. Gold is good in its place, but loving, brave, patriotic men are better than gold. The way for a young man to rise is to improve himself in every way he can, never suspecting that anybody wishes to hinder him. There is another old poet whose name I do not now remember who said, "Truth is the daughter of time." I desire so to conduct the affairs of this administration that if at the end I have lost every other friend on earth, I shall at least have one friend left, and that friend shall be down inside of me. Every one desires to live long, but no one would be old. I was born and have ever remained in the most humble walks of life. Hold on with a bulldog grip, and chew and choke as much as possible. Knavery and flattery are blood relations. If you think you can slander a woman into loving you, or a man into voting for you, try it till you are satisfied. Never regret what you don't write. Don't swap horses in crossing a stream. These men ask for just the same thing, fairness, and fairness only. This, so far as in my power, they, and all others, shall have. I hope to stand firm enough to not go backward, and yet not go forward fast enough to wreck the country's cause. I have great respect for the semicolon, it is a mighty handy little fellow. The point, the power to hurt, of all figures lies in the truthfulness of their application. Common-looking people are the best in the world, that is the reason the Lord makes so many of them. I pass my life in preventing the storm from blowing down the tent, and I drive in the pegs as fast as they are pulled up. 47 years ago our fathers brought forth on this continent, a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.